a fish nerd, up close and personal right here on White Mountains TV. Clay Groves from fishnerds.com. Thanks for joining us this morning.
I made it. I don't know how I got here, but we got here. I was going to go fishing because it's a beautiful day out today, and I didn't go because I'm here. What the heck am I doing?
I know. What are you doing here? You should be fishing right now. I actually took my son out fishing last night. A little super secret spot teeming with rainbow trout.
I know, you texted me. Chris and I are friends outside of this. And
barely,
Chris,
but... Yeah.
Barely. Doesn't call me when he's going to super secret trout spots, so we're not that good of friends. But Chris texted me last night. I'm at my daughter's dance recital, the longest dance recital on earth.
Nothing better than getting a text of an image of a trout while you're at your daughter's recital.
Oh, and he's catching these great... by the way, my daughter's dancing is beautiful and great.
Yeah.
So I would like to have left at they were done and gone and caught some of those rainbow trout, but they were really great. But we're not here to talk about you. You've got a forum. You're here all the time. So we're here to talk about me and Fish Nerds.
Fish Nerds, you may have noticed the new segments. We just saw one, Fish Nerds. You guys are going to be talking about all sorts of things over the course of the summer. Fall fish, brook trout we just saw, fishing with kids, all sorts of great tips.
All kinds of trips. Yeah, trips. I can't speak today. Yeah.
And you have gained your experience, how?
3 years ago, my friend Dave, the other fish nerd, who's too lazy to drive up here early in the morning, he's from Exeter, came up with an idea to catch and eat every kind of freshwater fish in New Hampshire. And we embarked on a 1-year quest to catch and eat every kind of fish in the state. And you can go on your YouTube channel and watch all those interviews where we thought for sure in 1 year's time we would get them all. And
but you didn't.
We didn't. We're still trying. Actually, we've zeroed in on the last few fish, and they're in Hinsdale, New Hampshire, and we're currently working on trying to catch them.
And what are the last few fish? Because we're not talking about a bass here or something like that.
Well, one of them we're probably not going to get, so we're going to just call it
quitter.
Well, no, we found them in the supermarket, so we might catch it in the store. So the lake whitefish, which are one of the rarest fish in the state. Then we have tessellated darters, swamp darters, and creek chubsuckers. And then we found another invasive fish that's new to New Hampshire. It's not on the list. We may swap that with one of those 4. But we know where they live, and they get to be 10 pounds, and we're going to go out to Hinsdale and try to nail those in a couple of weeks.
The creek chubsucker sounds like the only thing I would catch. Like every time I go out fishing for trout, I feel like I would just catch a creek chubsucker. I
would be so happy if you did, because then you can add to the quest pile. Because you're always catching fall fish instead of trout. But if you got a chubsucker, that would be cool. And they do live in Purity Lake, so they are in the area, but they're really hard to find.
And they have very strict rules about how they can catch their fish. So strict, in fact, that they don't actually even have to catch the fish. If they are near someone who catches the fish, they consider that catching the fish.
Yeah, like so if Chris and I went fishing together and Chris caught the fish, he would then become indoctrinated into the quest. We would deputize him.
Yeah.
We'd give him a fish nerd's hat, which we've already given you.
Yes, and I love my new fish nerd's hat.
And
you sound like my... Never mind.
I know. Why won't you wear that? I bought it for you. I spent $12 on that hat. You
nice
never
hat.
wear that fish nerd's hat.
I am going to wear it more.
So, good, you should wear it. Totally wear it. But you get indoctrinated into the quest, you get to become part of the story. And then, once we finish New Hampshire, we got to figure out maybe every fish in the country, but we need people to pay for that. So that's kind of the trick with.
I'm going to wear my Fish Nerds hat because it's going. If nothing else, it's going to get me conversation at the fishing holes because everybody knows Fish Nerds now. Your Facebook site is like over 6,000 fans.
We're fish famous, and one thing we did after the quest is we tried writing a book, and we went all the way to the point where we had an agent, and he was shopping the book for us. And like a lot of early businesses, we failed to get our book published. And so once we failed, rather than quit...
Failed is a harsh term.
Failed is it's oddly accurate.
It's delayed.
Yeah, whatever. But at that time, it was a fail. It felt like fail to me. So what we did was we relaunched and rebranded ourselves as the Fish Nerds, and we launched the Fish Nerds podcast, which is, if you don't know what a podcast is, they're on-demand radio shows.
Casting is to have anything to do with fishing.
Oddly, it doesn't. It should totally. But they're an on-demand radio show. So we've been featured on public radio a number of times, and they describe the Fish Nerds podcast. They said the Fish Nerds are to fishing what the Car Talk guys are to cars. And that was how Boston Public Radio described our show.
Wow.
So if you're not already hearing the podcast, you can go to iTunes and look for the Fish Nerds, and you can download it to your iPhone or your iPod or whatever, and you can listen to it there, or you can get it on fishnerds.com. And it's also on Android on a bunch of other apps that you can get. So.
And if you go to iTunes, you'll find that the Fish Nerds podcast is actually nationally ranked. This locally produced podcast about fishing is becoming worldwide famous. You guys are in the top level of outdoor podcasts.
Yeah, we're in the top 300 podcasts, outdoor podcasts on iTunes, which is pretty great. There are thousands of outdoor podcasts on iTunes, and we've been in the top 300 for a couple of months now, and we're just kind of pushing up that list. And we've listened to every podcast, fishing podcast above us on that list, and we like them, but we're the Fish Nerds.
The current podcast, I can't wait to hear. You guys actually did an interview with, I believe, the creator of a new reality show that takes place partially on Lake Winnipesaukee.
Yeah, and well, Dave and I had a quest to also become fish famous, and we went to a casting call for a reality TV show on National Geographic called The Ice Holes. It's the worst name ever for a show, by the way. But we got cast on the show. We signed a contract with the production company with National Geographic, and then they never used us in the shoots. Which
They took your knowledge and ran with it.
They did not. They could use us. They can use some Fish Nerds on that show to kind of ramp up the nerdy side of it. But we interviewed the creator on this week's podcast, so you can hear how that show was created. And it's kind of an interesting story, and you can check that out. Also, if you listen close, you'll hear White Mouse TV is on that this week. And you'll hear the worst Gilbert Gottfried impression you've ever heard
Do it.
on the show. What?
You gotta go to the podcast?
Well, we do a fishing news segment, and we were talking about how in Gilbert, Arizona, a salon was sued because they were using fish to exfoliate feet. And so when Dave said, Dave says, in Gilbert, Gilbert's being sued for exfoliating feet. And I went, why would you exfoliate a foot? A foot's got hair and toenails and it smells like socks. Who does that? So I did my Gilbert impression, and then we go on from there. So
That was really good.
Thank
I
you.
didn't know you had talent.
I'm so nerdy. So yeah, that's all I got.
So, if you'd like to see the Fish Nerds get even more fish famous, there's a new thing that you guys are doing.
There is. We don't make any money doing this. We've done 38 shows, plus the 3 years of the quest, and we're trying to figure out how to make this business something that we can maybe pay for itself with. We travel around. I went to New Orleans, and we have to buy equipment for recording while we're on the road, and it costs money. So, have you heard of Patreon?
That's the new Marvel superhero.
It is. I am Patreon.
It's like Captain America's sidekick.
There's a new website out. It's about a year old. It's called Patreon. Patreon.com. Patreon. And it works just like Kickstarter. So Kickstarter, you have an idea. I got this great invention. I need $20,000 to fund my invention. Everyone chips in $1, and it gets done. Patreon's the same thing, only it's for ongoing projects, more based in arts. So people who are doing singing songs or doing podcasts or radio shows, whatever, will say, I'm doing this show. I need all my fans to give me $1 per episode to help fund my show. So if you go to patreon.com, and you can see the site's up on there now, and you click Support the Fish Nerds, and you say, I'm going to give you guys $1 a show. We get the $1. That's $4 a month maybe you'll be paying. You get reasonably good quality content, and everyone wins. And it's $1. I mean, less than the cost of the worms that you're going to leave in your car. You could be supporting the Fish Nerds.
And you will have something to entertain you as you drive to work every morning
Yeah.
with the podcast.
We also give exclusive content on there. So we made a sea lamprey video that's only available on Patreon. Dave caught one while fishing, and we did a whole thing just on the Patreon page. So
dressed it up in dog clothes and had it prancing around.
We did, yeah. Yeah, boy, I was hearing about that moose. I was just thinking, imagine if sea lampreys were the same as moose, and you had 150,000 sea lampreys. Those are 3-foot-long blood-sucking fish. They're really great. So, but the other thing I wanted to come here, I got 2 more things I want to do. First of all, I want to talk about fishing style and technique. I fish with Chris a lot, and I'm concerned about the way he fishes with his kid and trying to just bothers him. Chris, can you show me, if you were to go fishing with this fishing rod, how would you hold it while you're reeling in a fish? Would you please show me? And we talked about this on the last podcast a lot, by the way. My Uncle Ronnie is the same as you.
Okay, he's going to make fun of me. This is the way I did it. This is the way he wants me to do it.
That's the right way.
This is the way I do it. With
That's the wrong way.
Reel up.
Yeah.
But it how is it wrong?
The fish can tell.
The fish can tell?
The fish can tell. The proper way to hold it is with this bail, with this reel on the bottom.
Yep.
That's the proper way. The weird way is like this. And the idea is your dominant hand, your right hand, when you're landing a fish, that's what's controlling your fish and getting it to where you want it.
Yeah.
Your left hand cranks because it doesn't need to do anything useful.
Yep.
When you do it this way, it's opposite. And plus, it just makes my head explode. It looks weird. The fish don't know. Chris catches plenty of fish, but I know, and it bothers me, and you're wrong.
Man.
So stop it.
You're sounding more and more like my wife.
Stop it!
Why is it wrong? It just is. Just
Yeah.
do it differently.
Oh, by the way, while we're on this subject, quick fishing pro tip. If you're fishing and with an old fishing reel and you got old line from last year on it and it tends to spool up on you and kind of bird's nest, cut some of the old line off and then run your reel with the line on under super hot water. And that will cause the monofilament to tighten up a little bit on your reel and stop your bird's nesting. So
Cool.
something to do while you're
You
fishing.
said you had two things. What's the second thing you wanted to talk
The
about?
second thing is when on the podcast we always do a fish quiz.
Oh, okay.
And so I thought it might be fun today to test your fishing knowledge.
Get ready. I'm going to ace this.
Yeah, and I know how this show loves long quizzes. So
Yes.
I've got 75 questions. So Hans, do you have time back there for 75?
Hans is like, he's already like starting to explode back there. He's like, we got 15 minutes and 83 minutes of content.
I know, and Hans
including
is like-
Tim McCaffrey from Adventure Suites.
And Hans for Pogo sticking up Mount Washington. I mean, like, who does that? I know Annie likes kippered fish, so we love Hans.
And now his latest thing is carrying around a bag of sour cream and onion crickets.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad for that.
Fish quiz.
Fish quiz. You ready for this?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to give you, since this is a skiing, snowboarding town, I'm going to give you a fish quiz that's snowboard related.
Okay.
So two of the items I'm going to tell you are real fishing lures, and one is not. You tell me.
Okay, so
The
there's
knot.
three, and two of them are fake.
That's right.
Okay.
So this is two lure names, one not. Curly-tailed grub, backside misty, or daredevil.
The curly-tailed grub is not.
It is not. Oh, that's wrong. In fact, since we're in a snowboard town, backside misty is a snowboard trick. You see.
Oh yes. Okay.
You see where we're going?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
I should have been on that.
Question 2: stink bug, sluggo, or Swedish pimple? Which one is not a lure?
The stink bug.
The stink bug. That's another snowboarding trick.
Really?
Yeah.
It's also a bug that stinks.
Yeah, that's a front side with the rider's elbow passing to the inside of his knees.
Huh.
I did not know that. Wow. I just read it. Here we go. Question 3: Senko, Deadly Dick, or Gunderson? Senko, Deadly Dick, or Gunderson?
What was the first one?
Senko.
The deadly dick is the snowboarding trick.
It is not. It is not. You're just biased towards that answer. Deadly Dick is a popular bluefish lure,
Really?
not made at Dick's Sporting Goods. I went there and asked for them, and they just laughed at me the whole time. They had no idea what I was talking about. The Gunderson is a Nordic trick. All right, we got two more. I want to move on. Okay.
Okay.
How about the Crippler, the Beetle Spin, or the Rat L Trap?
The crippler is a snowboarding trick.
See, you're winning now.
Nice.
You got 1 out of 4. And then we'll end on this one. How about
50%. This makes or
Yeah.
breaks right here. I can finish above 50% if I answer this right.
I got the Pencil Popper, Little
Lure.
Cleo,
Lure.
Back Scratcher.
Back scratcher is definitely a snowboarder
See,
trick.
look at that. All right, that's a
I
win.
answered more right than I got wrong, so I'm good.
And what we do on our show is every guest we have on, we always get them a fish quiz. That was a fish quiz we gave during the Olympic season to New Hampshire Boston Public Radio.
Yeah.
So we quizzed them on that, and they got none right.
Nice. So I am
Yeah.
smarter than Boston Public Radio.
You could say that. So,
Clay, we got to go.
yeah, I'm gonna have some beer on the way out.
Yes,
right?
as a parting gift, you're going to get some Moat Mountain Delicious. Would you go for the Violet Bee, the Miss V's Blueberry? Would you go for the new Hellas Lager, or would you go for we'll get some Czech Pilsner in house?
I'm gonna go with the Hellas. Yeah, Hans, can you play that ta-da sound? 'Cause I get beer.
So fishnerds.com is the place to find out. Make sure you watch Fish Nerds TV right here on White Mountains TV. And real quickly, if someone wants to go fishing today with their kid, give them one spot.
Well, first of all, I should end with this. Today is Free Fishing Day in New Hampshire. You do not need a license today to fish in the state of New Hampshire. So everywhere you go is a good spot. But Pequawket Pond, Pea Porridge Pond, head up to the Kankamongas for trout today. Would be a great day to
Yep.
look for some brookies. So
And of course, fishermen keep their best spots secret, but there's one guy who is totally promiscuous. And that is Dave Pelletier up at Andy's Mountain Sports in Bartlett. He is the sponsor of the Fish Nerds here on White Mountains TV. That guy will tell you everything. So if you want to take your kid fishing, the best place to start, Andy's Mountain Sports in Bartlett. They got all the bait you need, all the gear you need, all the fishing rods. They rent canoes to get you on the river if you want to do it that way. And he'll tell you where to catch fish with your kids. So
he's a nice guy.
Or by yourself. You don't need kids.
We like him.
Leave your kids at home. We're going to be back with more Adventure Suites, weather, watch and win after this.
Owned and operated by award-winning chef Brian Alden and his wife Patty, the chefs